welcome back to the Real Southern Garden. I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to take you out to Lowe's and Home Depot and show you what is new, what is good, what is on sale, and what great deals there are out there for this Memorial Day weekend. So I know a lot of us are going on vacation, but a lot of us are staying home and working in the garden. I am one of those people. I'll be working in the garden. So if you are, maybe you're going to be doing some plant shopping. Hopefully I can help you out and show you what is out there. But before we get to that, I want to show you just a sneak peek at my hydrangeas. So they are blooming about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of schedule. I was thinking I'd do my hydrangea tour in June, but I'm gonna have to move it ahead and probably do it next week on the channel. So probably either early in the week or it'll be later in the week. You'll have a hydrangea tour up of my garden. But let me just show you a few of them before we head out to the stores. All right, so just a little quick sneak peek at my incredible hydrangeas. Aren't they awesome? I love them so much. We'll have a full tour next week, like I said, but let's head out to the stores and let's see what's at Home Depot and Lowe's for this Memorial Day weekend. Here we go, pulling up at the Home Depot for the Memorial Day weekend sales. So let's see what they have. They have a lot of stuff out here at the front of the store. And first thing I saw was this big crepe myrtle right here front and center. I think Home Depot is so smart because they do add a lot of like shrubs and trees in the aisle so people see them instead of just keeping them all in the back. And this one was $99 for this size crepe myrtle. You can see the color right there. So those will be blooming very soon. And then they had some things that were mismarked, like this, for example. They were calling these lantana, and they are clearly not lantana, but the lantana is back on the other side of this aisle. But those were $7.98 for the caladiums. So all the caladiums are out now. They've got a ton of those, all different beautiful colors. I know my mom loves those a lot. Then they had some Angelonia also coming in at $7.98. And then here was the lantana that is actually on sale. And you can see that that price is slashed to $4. And then these were $13.98 for these guys right here. And they had some really nice knockout roses. We're going to get to those in a second. Great price on those. They had these 1 quart Proven Winners annuals on sale, 2 for $10. Pretty good deal, I believe, but I'm not sure. This is Supertunia Vista. I've been looking for that Supertunia Vista bubblegum, but it wasn't marked. It just said Proven Winners and it's pink. And I'm assuming that this is bubblegum. But I looked all over this container to try to find the name. I want to verify that this is actually Supertunia Vista bubblegum, and I could not. And of course, the people that work there were not able to verify that either. So I didn't buy it, but I've been looking for it. I think that's it. I may go back and get it, but I do think that that is actually it. This was also mismarked. They had the wrong tag in here. That is not that plant, but that plant is on the bottom of this rack, and I will show you that in just a second. They even had verbena blue right here on the tag on the actual plant. That is incorrect. But down at the bottom, they do have some Dwarf Blue Days Morning Glory, which is a newer plant that I've not seen before. The dwarf size stays a little smaller, obviously, and is a longer blooming Morning Glory type. So they have lots of good options here, 2 for $10 for the annuals on this aisle. And then there's lots of daylilies. These were not the reblooming ones though. I was looking for those and I did find them in the back. Some beautiful Gara. I was looking for some white Gara. I haven't seen white out yet. The pink is really pretty, but I love the way the white just shows up so well. And all of those plants were $7.98. And then we have another crepe myrtle. This one has really dark foliage on it, and also $99 for that. Then we had these black containers that are on sale, 3 for $12. They were usually, they were priced at $7.98, so that is a great deal for all of these containers. So that would include the Gara and the Candy Tuff. And what else is a black container of the same size? The Daylilies and all of these little good items right here. So that's pretty awesome. And then we have these beautiful knockout roses. This particular one, the pink knockout, is my favorite because it just blooms so profusely, and it's probably the most disease resistant, in my opinion, as far as the ones that I have grown. And of course, as you guys know, I used to work for an online rose nursery, and I love all types of garden roses and scented roses, but knockout roses have their place, and I am 100% behind them. They are great landscape roses, and they have their place in the garden and in the landscape, absolutely, for sure. And that pretty yellow rose in the back says it's a yellow rose non-patent, 1998 for that. Then tons of lilies, still just blooming their little hearts out. Lots and lots of options if you are looking for some Asiatic lilies or stargazers. I've seen some of those out too, so they just smell so good. Some calla lilies at $26.98. It's a pretty big container. Then we have this pretty little rose right here for $29.98. It's a 3-gallon Marc Chagall. Has a nice fragrance to it and looks pretty healthy. Pretty little rose. And then another interesting rose that is a newer one in the knockout family is this double pink knockout. They only had a couple here, but there's some great selection of this particular rose over at Lowe's, so stay tuned for that in the video. And then they also had these rose trees, which are already all pruned up for you. A lot of people love these. I got a lot of calls for these when I worked at the online rose nursery. They wanted to know if we carried them, and we didn't. You have to go to one of the big box stores if you want one, but there's that pretty little yellow rose again. They definitely, like I said, they have their place. I think they're really pretty. They add a lot to a landscape. This is the double knockout rose tree, and not too bad at $29.98. I think I bought one a couple years ago and it was like 30 something, so that is a pretty good deal. And then we have a spinach. I have not seen this type of spinach. It's a huge plant, and I was a little perplexed by it. $24.98, but check out the way it looks. It shows it as purple and green. This is a really big spinach plant. I've never seen this before, so I just had to show this to you guys. They say it's easy care and great for beginners. Perhaps I'll try one day. I just grow the little tiny spinach leaves. You know how they look like the regular spinach that you're used to seeing. Then they had tons of Bonnie plants, of course. They really didn't have any sales on those right now. And they had some burpee plants out too. Did not see any sales on those, so I'm not going to go over each one with you, but they had plenty in stock and they all looked really healthy. Then here's some nice patriotic mix of petunias here. I saw a lady grab a couple of those. Those will be beautiful all summer. And sun patience. They had some sun patience mixed with caladiums. The sun patience can actually take quite a bit of shade as well. That's what's great about them, is they're versatile. And this is an interesting plant right here. I have not seen this before, but today was the day that I did. 2 different sizes of these. Braided willow is what it is. Very interesting. And my mom and I loved this plant right here. This is called Petunia Rhythm and Blue. And it's just so cute with that little white outline. Really nice. And then we're moving on to another Japanese maple. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. No way. It's a little bit pricier at $2.49, but they just add so much to a landscape. And they had quite a bit of selection of Japanese maples here at this Home Depot. So definitely check them out if you're looking for some Japanese maples. And then they had hanging baskets, all different prices. These were $13.98, I believe. These were all petunias. And they need to make sure they have prices that are clear everywhere on every rack, because it makes it tough to know what you are buying or what you're trying to buy. $26.98 for that unusual fern that you're seeing right there. And then they had some dahlias, of course. $13.98 for the dahlia. Then some sun patience in a really pretty lilac color. I really like that color. Priced at $7.98. The impatiens and sun patience were not on sale right now. I know because I just bought a bunch. And then here's that sunflower that actually this is not the Sunfinity. Sorry guys, this is just a regular sunflower that blooms a few times and then it's done. Sunfinity is the rebloomer. This coleus, this is a gorgeous color. This one's a very popular one that you see in a lot of containers. $7.98 for this one. And then the one next to it that's very heavily variegated, this little guy right here, this is a favorite of mine. Definitely going to be using this in my fall containers, I think. And then we have the Pugster dwarf blueberry, not blueberry bush, my goodness, butterfly bush, $13.98 on sale. Pugster pinker. That is a neat little plant. I have not grown this one myself, but the butterflies are just gonna love it. It's a great one. Here's the reblooming daylily. This one is the one from Southern Living. It's an evergreen version of the Stella d'Oro that reblooms. And I'm all about reblooming. That's $9.98 for that size. I'd like to grab some of these. I did not today, but it's on my long list of plants that I want to try. Limelight hydrangea. This is a good size. Coming in there, you can see right there, $16.98. And then we have little lime hydrangea coming in at $29.98. If you buy 15 or more, they're $23.98. So if you're doing like a hedge or something like that, you can save quite a bit of money by buying them in with that bulk price. Just remember to remind them when you check out that you're doing that bulk pricing. Then we have our Encore azaleas, and at the bottom you can see that their Confederate jasmine is on sale for $21.49, but the Confederate jasmine was nowhere to be found on this aisle. So there was lots of mismatched prices and signs. I don't know what was going on this week at the Home Depot, but anyway, if you find the Confederate jasmine in that store, it is on sale. Gardenias, they are on sale for $9.88. They were $12.98. This is a great one because it goes all the way down to zone 7. My mom and I just bought a couple of these on a previous trip here. We didn't get the sale price. So if you're looking for some gardenias, you should go grab those and get the sale price. That is a great variety. It does really well. Also, the Lowe Petalum, $9.98 on sale. And then they had some Dusty Miller, like they always do, right? But $6.98 for this larger size. I would get the smaller size that I'm going to show you in a second at $1.98. They grow so fast. I would just get the $1.98 size and you'll be just also fine. Dusty Miller is perennial. If you're like zone 7, zone 8-ish, it's going to come back. It comes back for me. That's a beautiful petunia color right there. I love that one. And then we had some variegated ivy. I have used this for ground cover. It has been a great plant for me. Then we have some little creeping Jenny coming in at $6.48 for that size. Looking really healthy. And then tons more of these beautiful Asiatic lilies. And every color imaginable, from yellow to orange to pink to white. And they smell so good, like I said. They've got a great selection at the Home Depot this year. The Impatiens, they had a really great selection a few weeks ago. They're kind of dwindling down. They're $1.98 now. They did have a sale a couple weeks back. I should have bought them when they were on sale, but I wasn't ready to plant them. I didn't want to risk having them sitting out in pots for too long because sometimes that goes wrong. There are some marigolds. They still got plenty of those. And they had beautiful salvia of all colors. They had white, they had purple, they had red, of course, and kind of like a peachy corally color. That's really beautiful, that shade up there. And they have them in the shade area, but these guys like sun, so I don't know why they have that over there, but that's where they are currently. Then we had some sun annuals, as you can see. Vinca were really running high this year on prices as well. but I did find some on the discount rack over at Lowe's. So check out the discount rack at your Lowe's if you're looking for vinca this year. And then of course begonias, little pop of color in a shady area. I'm partial to the impatiens in a shady area. This was $24.98 for this 6-pack of vinca. That just seems crazy to me. And then we have these beautiful caladiums. These can really look great if you're doing like a festive July 4th or Memorial Day container. They really look good in a lot of those. We have these giant Boston ferns in these containers. These are huge. They are $49.98. You know, somebody might need that for their patio or their entryway. They have them already potted up for you, and they're already growing, and they're huge if you're in the market for that. $1.98 for these little begonias, and that's what I would do. I would buy the smaller size, guys, because they grow so quickly, and you know, you don't really need to buy the large size. And they have the better boxwood on sale for $9.88, so that might be a good time to try that and see how it does for you while it's on sale. I've heard really good things about it. They also had some wintergreen boxwood, $7.88 down at the bottom. I have bought lots of those myself over the years. And then we have frost-proof gardenias coming in here at $21.98. That's a great price. This is a huge size. These also go down to zone 7. And then they also had their oak leaf hydrangeas on sale, but strangely enough, they were not on the rack with the sign. So a lot of things moved around. I don't know exactly what was going on here. But both the sky pencil holly, both sizes are on sale. $7.88 for the little one. The large one was on sale too. They had lots of good foundation shrubs all on sale. So this is a great time to go to Home Depot, check out the shrubs. Lots of them are on sale. Then of course they had a lot of great annuals too, but you really pick up some good things before it gets too hot to plant. It's not going to be too hot to plant for the plant, but it gets too hot for the gardener. And this pretty little purple clematis, $14.98. It's a good price for that one. And then we have the cat's meow nepeta. So it's different than cat pajamas. There's cat's pajamas nepeta, and there's cat's meow. Cat's meow gets a little bit taller. Also a proven winner's nepeta. I love nepeta because it blooms the entire growing season, and it looks so good among roses or in any flower bed, honestly. I almost got some of those, but I held back. Then here's just a little white daisy from Proven Winners. Daisies are pretty finicky for me. I don't grow a lot of them, but everybody has a favorite plant. Some people do. Some pretty little garden phlox. This one didn't have much scent though, so I was kind of bummed about that. I was expecting to have a good scent. Beautiful Heuchera. These guys were not on sale. They kind of go on sale in the fall, but they're still not priced bad at $5.98. And then they had a sale on their cypress and their arborvitaes. Dolce Wildberry Heuchera coming in at $24.98. Then this cute little ground cover next to it, kind of a variegated look to it, Sedge, $9.98. Some larger arborvitaes coming in there at $17.88. The pumpkin spice Heuchera coming in here at $9.98. It's too early for pumpkin spice, but not for Heuchera. Here we have some Boston ferns coming in at $12.98. They are cheaper at Walmart and Lowe's. And then we have Sonic Bloom by Proven Winners. This is a really great reblooming plant, this guy right here. Some gorgeous butterfly bush coming in at $34.98. Then this was a really beautiful color of garden phlox. Just such a sweet color. Didn't have a scent though, unfortunately. And then check out this berry trail hydrangea. So this is what I've seen this before growing on a trellis. I've never seen it in a hanging basket. It's pretty pricey at $49.98 for the size, in my opinion. All right, and then off to Lowe's we go, and there's the little baby smiling. She's happy. And she loves to point at everything. So I'm pretty sure this is Super Tunia Vista Bubblegum mixed in with some other petunias, but it isn't a proven winter's grown plant. So, but I think they still did grow it and sell it. It was a grower out of Miami. Still looking for the individual ones that I know for sure are actually that plant. So we have some different perennials over here on this rack. They were all coming in at $7.98. They had the cat pajamas Nepeta, which I was thrilled about, but it's $13.98. When I bought them here originally, they were $9.98 for the same size, but they did get a bunch in. I've got my eye on them. I'm waiting to see if they'll discount them at any point. Then we had some different little tropical trees, well, shrub trees. We had some hibiscus and some nicotina, and I don't buy a lot of those. I mean, they're annuals where I live, but I stick with the little bitty plants. I don't put a whole lot of money into my annuals because obviously they're not going to come back. And then we had some other tropical plants over here. They put all of these front and center here at Lowe's. Then they had the Sunfinity sunflowers, and I really want to try these. They have a smaller size for $7.98. I'm thinking about trying them. These were $29.98, and they are reblooming sunflowers, so they rebloom the entire season. I think that's pretty awesome. So for something like an annual like that, I would buy the smaller size at $7.98 and just try it out myself and see how I like it. All of these were, well, $10.98 for those, $13.98 for the salvia and the vinca. And then these little vinca here, these individual vinca, priced at $5.48 for the quart size. That seems like a really high price for vinca. I don't know, maybe this year is just different. I loved this color of celosia, this beautiful pink, $1.98. That's a beautiful color. I almost bought some, I did not, but I don't see the pink very often, and I was really taken by that shade. And then of course they had their flats of moss rose, and they're not flats, they're the quart sizes of plants. They had some more celosia back here, and let's see here, what else? A few of the little tiny pink vinca. In the back, they had their Boston ferns finally on sale for $10, but they were still cheaper at Walmart, as long as Walmart still has them in stock. They were only by a few cents though, honestly, like $9.98 or something like that. So $10 is pretty much the same price. They had lots of cute little containers. This is $14.98 for this little Memorial Day or 4th of July looking planter. You could also do this yourself very easily. Just stick a little flag in there. You can find them on Amazon. And then of course, some more Asiatic lilies, very beautiful colors. Some vinca here. And these vinca were also $5.98 for the quart size. And there were a few other different annuals tucked in on this aisle. The plumbago for $6.98. Now this would come back for us when I lived in Houston as a kid, but definitely not here in North Georgia. And then here's the reblooming sunflower coming in here at the smaller size for $8.48. And Heather coming in at $5.98 for this size. I believe it's the quart size. And then some beautiful sedum. It needs full sun. I wish sedum would grow in the shade. I would have this everywhere if it did. And then we have some more of the Dwarf Morning Glory, $9.98 for this one. Really beautiful color. I love that color blue. We have some different sweet potato vines and coleus, ornamental sweet potato vine, of course. That would look really nice in containers. These little striped petunias are some of my favorite petunias. They're so pretty. $8.48 for Sweet Sunset Gerber daisies. And then tons of vegetables, nothing on sale in the bonnie plants, but definitely they had plenty of stock. And now we're gonna head inside. All right, and then inside they have more, of course, of the little 6-packs, $13.98 for all of these. And these delphinium are so beautiful. I was thinking of where I could put those in my garden. I just love how delicate they look. The begonias coming in at $10.98, the polka dot plant for $13.98, and then we had, it looks like $11.98 for the sun patient. So all different prices back here. $1.98 a quart for the regular shade loving impatiens, and then $12.98 for these beautiful hanging baskets with begonias in them. They have some really pretty colors. And the impatiens that were in the hanging baskets were the same price, $12.98. The wintergreen boxwood, $9.98. Plantain lilies at $13.48. I bought some of those on sale last fall and put those in my front flower bed. And then we have some different ground covers up here. I like this moss. I wish I could put that in a lot of different places that are full sun, but it needs shade. And then I really love the celosia. It looks so healthy. $5.48. They had so many beautiful shades. Of course, I was in love with that really light pink color, but this red is really pretty too. And they had some red sun patients that were looking really healthy and beautiful. This dark red coleus, also looking really beautiful at $6.48. Lemon coral sedum also at $6.48 from Proven Winners. And the Sphinca coming in at $5.48. But like I said, they had some on the clearance rack at the back for $1. And these really pretty petunias all mixed up here. I think that is Super Tunia Vista Bubblegum mixed in there. $24.98 for that size. And the Gerber daisies are $6.48. So is that Mexican heather is actually $8.48 for this larger size. And then I love a lot of these little drop-in containers, $16.98. If you're in a pinch or you just need something to put into a ceramic pot, these can work great. $16.98 for those as well. They have a lot of really pretty color combinations. Just make sure that they actually are all sun-loving plants or shade-loving plants in whichever container you pick. This yellow celosia was looking really healthy and beautiful. So was this burgundy. And then we're going to check out the hydrangeas. So they had these on sale, the Endless Summer variety at Home Depot a couple weeks ago, but they're all sold out now. Lowe still has some of the Endless Summer. They weren't quite the same price that they were on sale when they were at Home Depot, but they do still have them. The oak leaf hydrangeas are looking so healthy. I think that this is a pretty good price for those. And then Little Lime coming in at $29.98. That is a pretty good size for that. Endless summer hydrangeas are always interesting because they come in so many different shades, just depending on your soil. And then here's something they definitely did not have at Home Depot, but this is a hydrangea tree. And as you can see, it's exactly what it looks like. It's a hydrangea tree, the way that they have grown it. It's really pretty. I don't know where I would put that in my garden, but it would be a standout piece for sure. And we had some jasmine here, but it's not hardy in my area, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time checking that one out. Then some beautiful hydrangeas, all different colors. This particular one is $29.98, and it is called the Matilda hydrangea. And then we have some more of the endless summer hydrangeas and some of their bloom struck, the pink variety as well. The hydrangea pop star, this one is a really cutie little plant. I haven't grown her, but I love the color. I mean, it's just so unique. And this is my favorite color right here of Impatience, this little drop-in container. I just love all the mix of pinks in there. It's just so pretty. And then we have some bee balm, which I haven't seen this at a lot of places, so that was a unique find here at Lowe's. This Jolt perennial dianthus is really pretty, $19.98 for that one. And then we have some more of the daylilies, and then I looked at these little tiny petite roses. I saw these at Walmart a couple weeks ago, and they were a better price there. But they don't have a scent, so I wasn't super excited about them. But I was really excited about this double pink knockout because this is the first time I've actually seen it, this year is. And I think the double pink is really pretty. It gives it a real fancy look for a knockout rose, and yeah, I'm really liking it. So I think that she will definitely be coming to my garden at some point. And as far as little boxwoods and soft touch holly go, Home Depot had the better selection and the better price of these. The wintergreen boxwood here actually looked a little bit faded, like it wasn't quite so green anymore. And I think that's because they have it in full sun all day, and it can prefer just a little bit of shade, not quite such blasting sun. This is a beautiful plant right here that I had to show you guys. Purple Magic is a dwarf crepe myrtle. It only gets 6 to 10 feet, so it's great if you don't have a ton of room. And look at that color. It's just really pretty. And then we checked out the clearance section too. I didn't find anything that I took home, but they had a lot of perennial Asiatic lilies back here. So if you're looking for any of those, some of them aren't blooming obviously back here anymore, but you can get them for a really great price, like half price. So you cannot beat that. You can see the prices up here. They're pretty much half of what they were. They had coreopsis you could get for like $3, which is a great deal. And they had some verbena back here that looked pretty good too. Now these hydrangeas are one of the same varieties that we saw that were doing really well in the new section. These are looking rough. I would not buy those. I'm not sure that they're gonna make it. And then last but not least, let me show you the mulch that's on sale. So it's still 5 for $10. You can bet that I picked some of that up today. And then it was time to head home. And on this trip, what we ended up with was 10 bags of mulch, and we got it on sale and we love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We would love you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Leave me a comment, let me know what's going on in your world, and I'll see you back here next time in the next video at the Real Southern Garden. Bye guys.